All right, so today I'm going to go ahead and review some of the adding and subtracting integers with you guys. Um, integers. Whole numbers and their opposites. So we're talking about the positive and negative numbers in this case. You see here we have our number line right here, and we have 0, and when we go to the right, all our numbers are positive. When we go to the left, all our numbers are negative. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to approach this problem -6 plus 3. Okay, so -6. So whenever, if you guys go back to even like elementary school and first grade, kindergarten adding, you always really started at 0. Okay, so if you did a problem like 2 plus 3, you started at 0, you went to 2, and then you added 3, and you would have ended up at 5. Okay, so that's what you would have done. You started at 0, you counted to 2, and then you would count up 1, 2, 3, and then you would get 5. So that would be 2 plus 3 is 5. So we're going to do the same thing with integers. So when we're adding, we're going to start here at 0. Okay, so we're going to start here at 0, and then we're going to go to -6. Well, -6 tells me I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go to the left. So here I go. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And let me actually do it this way. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you see that I get back here and I'm at -6. This is that first number. So I'm here at -6. Now I'm going to add 3. Okay, so whenever we add a positive, that's going to be going to the right. Okay, so anytime we add the positive, we need to go to the right. So now I'm going to go from my -6 and I'm going to go right 3. 1, 2, 3. And I see that I end up at -3. So my answer to -6 plus 3 is -3. Okay, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Start at 0, count to our first number, then we add the 3. Okay. All right. So let's go on now to the next problem. I'm going to erase here. And I'm going to scroll this down to a problem like this, where we have 4 plus -5. So unlike the last one, what we're doing here is we're going to be adding a negative number, okay? But for the most part, I'm going to kind of keep my steps exactly the same. So I'm going to start here at 0, and I'm going to count to my +4. So I'm going to go right. 1, 2, wow. Sorry there. I'm still trying to get used to this cursor here. Okay. So I'm going to go start at 0, and I'm going to go right to +4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So here I am at +4. Now I'm going to add a -5. Well, a lot of times students will have a problem with this. So adding -5. So if I just added +5, so let's think if this was 4 plus +5, I would go to the right 5, okay? Well, the negative here is telling me, well, okay, if you would go right 5 if it's positive, I want you to do the opposite. So the opposite of going +5 or to the right 5 would be going backwards 5. So I'm going to go backwards 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here I end up with -1 as my answer. So 4 plus -5 would equal -1. Okay? So that's using a number line. That's using a number line. We'll go ahead and I'll show you on my whiteboard in the next frame how we're going to look at it if we don't have the number line to work with, okay? Hi, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through adding, and we'll hit on subtracting integers. But this time when we're adding, we're not going to use a number line. So we're not going to have a number line available to us. So we're going to look at strategies that are going to help us add integers when we don't have a number line available for us, okay? All right, so when we're adding, if we have a positive and a positive, that's always going to be more positive. Okay? That's always going to be more positive. We've been doing that since kindergarten, right? 5 plus 3 equals 8. So positive 5, positive 3 is going to equal positive 8. We should be okay with that, and nothing changes there, okay? But when we go to, now when we go to negative and negative, the same thing's going to happen, okay? So if I have a negative and I subtract and I add a negative, my answer is just going to become more negative, okay? So negative, negative just gets more negative. Negative 5 plus negative 3, negative 8, okay? So that's all going to stay the same, all right? Now, what gets tricky sometimes for students is when we go ahead and we're taking a negative plus a positive or a positive plus a negative. And we have two things with different signs, okay? Now, there's no specific rule for that when we're adding, okay? So it's always going to depend. Our answer is either going to be positive or negative depending on what sign holds the bigger number, okay? So here's an example. I'm going to use my negative 5 plus 3, okay? Negative 5 plus 3. The rule in this situation is to subtract. I know we're adding, but the rule for this situation when we have negative and positive is to subtract and keep bigger. I'm going to underline bigger. Subtract and keep bigger sign. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and execute my plan there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract. I'm not going to subtract the negative. I'm just subtracting 5 and 3. We actually call those the absolute values. The distance a number is from 0. So we're really subtracting the absolute values of negative 5 and 3. So absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So I'm going to do 5 minus 3. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. Okay, now 2 is going to be my answer, but we're going to ask ourselves, okay, is it going to be positive 2 or negative 2? Well, I look at my two numbers. 5 is bigger. 5 is negative, so it's going to be negative 2 for my answer. Okay, all right. Now let's do another example. I'm going to keep our rule up there. Subtract. And keep bigger number sign. All right, I had to shove that in there a little bit here. Okay. And keep bigger number sign. Okay, so there we go. We got that. All right. Another example here. We're going to keep with our 5 and 3. So if I have, let's say I have positive 5 this time, we're going to go positive 5 and negative 3. So positive 5 plus negative 3. Okay, I have different signs, so I'm going to go to my rule. I'm going to subtract and keep bigger sign. Okay, so I'm going to subtract. We're always going to be subtracting bigger from smaller. Okay, 5 minus 3 again is 2. But in this case, now my negative is not bigger. 5 is bigger and it's positive. So in this case, we're going to have positive 2 as my answer. Okay. All right. I'm hoping that's making sense for you, everybody. Good. Okay. All right. So here's an example that I want you to try on your own. And again, when I give the example, go ahead and pause, try it out on your own, try it out, work it out on your own, and then check with me on how your answer was. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you negative 12 plus 21, positive 21. So we have negative 12 plus positive 21. Okay, go ahead and hit pause. Go ahead and hit pause and figure that out for us, okay? All right, hopefully you hit pause. Hopefully you hit pause there and you were able to figure this out. Okay, we're going to go by our rule. Okay, our rule there states we're going to subtract and keep the bigger number sign. Sounds good. So we do 21 minus 12. 21 minus 12 ends up being, 9. Had a little brain moment there. Okay, 21 minus 12 is 9. I go ahead, I say, okay, what's bigger, the 12 or the 21? Well, 21's bigger, right? 21's positive, so my answer is positive 9. Positive 9. All right? Good. All right, we're going to go on to subtracting. Oh, you know what? Before we go on to subtracting, another way I was taught a long time ago on how to work with integers that have different signs. So if I'm adding integers and they have different signs, and let's go with 10 positive 10 plus negative 12. Okay. Another way I've been taught to do this is to look at it as money. In this sentence, I could look at it as, let's say I have $10 and then I owe somebody $12. Okay. Well, if I owe somebody $12 and I already have 10, I'm going to go ahead and give them my $10, right? So once I give them my $10, I have $2 left that I still owe them, right? So negative 2 ends up being my answer. But the same thing's happening here. See, we're doing 12 minus 10, 2. Negative is more powerful, so we keep the negative with the 2. Okay? So if thinking about it in terms of money helps you, then definitely go ahead and work it that way. That definitely helps a lot. And then it's a good way to check yourself. Good way to check yourself. Okay, subtracting. Okay, subtracting integers. Real quick, if you know how to add integers, you know how to subtract integers because you don't do anything except actually add. What do I mean by that? Let's say I have 7. Ooh, man, oh, that's not good. Let's try this one. Let's throw that one out. Let's do 7 minus negative 3. Okay, 7 minus negative 3. So here, we go ahead and we're going to think to ourselves, what's the deal here? Okay, to me and to a lot of math people, this a minus negative or a negative negative, that's a double negative, right? And even in English, we don't want to use double negatives. We don't want to say, I don't never go to the zoo, okay? Because we really don't know what that means. I don't never go to the zoo. Well, do you go to the zoo or do you not go to the zoo? It's a double negative. We don't want to listen to it. So what do? We do this rule. And here's the rule for subtracting. Add the opposite. Okay, so add the opposite. Okay, so that's our rule here. And what does that mean? Well, it means exactly what it says up there. We're going to add the opposite. We're going to keep this 7, and then we're going to add the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3. So positive 10 is the answer. Now, this doesn't seem natural. It doesn't seem like we should subtract a negative and get a bigger number. Okay? You have to trust the rule. You have to trust the rule. Okay? We don't like this minus negative. Double negatives are no good. We change it to plus positive. It's much easier and much more simpler for us to work with. Okay? A lot of times in math, you're not even going to see this. A lot of times they're automatically going to change it to this. Okay, but if you do see minus negative, just know change it and add the opposite. Okay. All right. I'm going to do one more example. All right. So if we have a number, something like 12, negative 12 minus 4. Okay. Again, it's add the opposite. So I'm going to keep my negative 12. And I'm going to add the opposite. The opposite of negative 4, this is positive 4. The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. Okay, negative 12 plus negative 4, negative 16. Okay, all right. And another way to model that, if I modeled that on a number line, and here's my negative 12, and I'm going to subtract 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've always subtracted 4, and we go left on the number line. So that's another way to kind of make that make sense. Okay. All right. I'll let you do one example on your own of subtracting. All right. Remember our rule: add the opposite. Okay. Let's go with negative 5 minus negative 8. Okay. Go ahead, do it on your own. Press pause. All right. Hopefully you went ahead and you pressed pause and you did it on your own. Okay. So what you should have done is you should have said, okay, negative 5. This number gets left alone. Okay. That number gets left alone, and then we add the opposite. Add the opposite. Negative 5 plus positive 8. Now I'm going to go to my adding rule, and I'm going to say, okay, 8 minus 5 is 3. Okay? 8 is the bigger number. It has a positive sign, so 3 is my answer. Okay? We did this because this was the bigger sign. Okay. Hopefully you guys went ahead and you were able to get that. Okay. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, and get more videos with me in them. All right. And Obi-Wan Kenobi over there. BB-8, Poe Dameron. We're all here. All right. Have a good one. Mr. H Media.